Yes, guys, hello and welcome back to the Spurs-related YouTube channel and podcast. I hope everyone is doing very well today on this Monday evening. Today, we are going to be reviewing another shocking performance as Tottenham lose 2-0 at Old Trafford. What's he called? The United Strand is one game away from cutting his hair. So it could be an interesting one. But obviously, we're also previewing the match tomorrow at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium at 7:30 against Newcastle United, who are very much not at their best. So it will be an interesting one. If you guys do obviously enjoy the content, please make sure you're hitting the like button, turning on the notification bell, and subscribing if you are new to Spurs Related. But we're back, joined alongside Thomas Frank's AI son. Yes, that nickname is still here, as Thomas Frank is with the club somehow. I don't know how. Frank, how are you doing, mate?
I'm all right. It's amazing, actually, that it continues. It's amazing that he's still here after all this time. Like I cannot fathom the fact that he's still here. I know we'll get into some of the numbers in a little while, but it's quite amazing. But no, I'm all right. I'm all good. I'm hoping that tomorrow night is the end of him, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, it could well be. We sit 6 points above the relegation zone in February. I can't believe it, Frank. I mean, it's actually getting a bit nervous. Obviously, we did do a video a couple of weeks ago saying Spurs could be in a relegation battle, and a few of the comments were like, guys, chill out, we're not getting relegated. Sorry to say it, guys, but it's still a possibility. It's still very much a possibility. And yes, we're only a couple of wins away from technically being safe and getting near that 38-point mark, but my goodness, mate, it's still a possibility, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think now more than probably ever. I haven't really thought about it that much. I mean, the fact that we've got a goal difference that's like much bigger than West Ham's makes a big difference. So it's almost a 7-point gap. As Simon says there, yeah. I mean, it's we're okay. I think we'll probably be safe, but the concern is I don't know where the next points are coming from, and so there's a worry there. Yeah, I think we'll be okay, but the worry, for the first time in my life, I'm sitting there and going, we could actually be in trouble. Like, I know we finished 17th last year, but we were never really in trouble. We're in trouble now.
Yeah, absolutely. Simon saying evening, boys, and mentioning that 7-goal difference. But listen, West Ham have 3 wins in their last 5 matches. Tottenham, as we will get up on the form table in just a minute, are sitting second bottom, only Burnley behind us in terms of form. And they've got a game in hand on that record as well, Frank. So we'll get into things on that when we bring some of the slides up. Let's talk about very quickly in terms of the Manchester United match. Obviously, we'll look at some of the stats. We'll look at some of the breakdown of that. But obviously, you know, the key point being about Christian Romero getting sent off in the first half and completely ruining the sort of flow of that game. I thought, like, before that, mate, we were well in that game. I thought we actually weren't doing too bad. I thought we had a couple of nice chances. I thought it was in the balance. Could have gone either way. And then obviously completely knocked the stuffing out of us. How impressed were you of our performance before that? And how silly is Christian Romero? Obviously, we're going to talk about that in a wider sort of topic in a bit. But, you know, how do you think we would have got something out of that game if Romero didn't get sent off?
No, I don't think we were very good, to be really honest. I mean, I think the benchmark is so low that we kind of sit there and go, it was all right. Ultimately, we were drawing 0-0 to Man United, who I know they're on a decent trot. Man United, they're not like the prime of Barcelona. It's a team with Maguire and Martinez and Dallo, and it's a decent side. It's an all right side. But we were drawing 0-0. We had one decent chance, I'd say, and that was the Gallagher one that Simmons put through. And even that was probably a half chance. I thought we were in the game, certainly. I thought we'd been okay. But no, I didn't think we were great. And I think concerningly, Bill put out on Twitter yesterday, and that concerningly, that's kind of like accepted as a good performance, like by the board or whatever now, in that they go, well, he stays because Romero got sent off and we were fantastic before. He said the first half an hour we were very good. We were drawing 0-0. We were doing okay. I think very good is probably a stretch. I wasn't that impressed, I have to be honest.
Yeah, I think we weren't incredible before the red card. Absolutely. I think maybe you're right. Maybe we would have lost that match anyway. But I certainly thought we had a chance. I think we had every chance. But as soon as that red card happened, I thought you knew what was going to happen. Even at 1-0, where we had a couple of half chances, in the second half, and you just kind of knew that Man United were going to score that second goal. It kind of was in the pipeline. Alex Minchin's in here. Big up, chaps. Big up yourself, mate. Hope you are well, as well as Colin, of course, all the way from Wales. I always forget which town. Even boys, perhaps I'm a dinosaur, but Cutty did not tackle. He had the ball and tried to clear it, and Casemiro tried to tackle him. Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of people thinking it wasn't a red card. But my personal opinion, guys, is I thought it was a Stonewall red. Frank, I know you might have had a differing view. I can't remember if it was you or not, but I certainly thought it was a red card personally. I thought, there was a couple of bits to this. Romero is clearly having a week where he's emotional. Obviously, that's not necessarily in the referee's mind, and the fact that he's gone in on a Brazilian player, Argentinian players hating Brazilian players and vice versa. But in terms of the actual tackle itself, he went in and it was unnatural the way he followed through. Yes, it wasn't high, but in my opinion, he had his studs showing and he could have easily broken his ankle. Maybe I'm too modern day for it. I really am. Honestly, I don't think I am. I thought it was a pretty poor tackle. And I think Romero deep down knew it was a bad tackle as well, which is why, there was a bit of a complaint, but I really thought it was a red card. It'd be interesting to see what you guys think in the chat. Maybe put, if you thought it was a red or a yellow, put red or yellow in the chat. Frank, what do you make, mate? Do you not agree with my thoughts on that?
No, I can see why it was given, because I think the game is going that way. And ultimately, I think this idea that he is sort of reckless is getting worse because, he's not helping himself. But what I will say is there was a tackle in the Arsenal-Sunderland game about 2 hours later that was exactly the same and wasn't given. Brian Brobby stayed on the pitch for Sunderland. There was the Dalot one on Doku, which was 10 times as bad 2 weeks ago, and that wasn't given. My point is it's not a great tackle. Do I think it's a red card? I've seen players get away with them, is kind of my point. And I think ultimately, if that was Wilson Odobert, I think he, one, probably gets away with it. And I think, two, the reaction from the media, it would be nowhere near. And I'm not suggesting that there is an agenda, but I'm suggesting there's an agenda. I think the listening to it at half time, and Ali McCoist, who I've always quite appreciated and quite liked, I was almost half tempted to put it on mute for the second half because he was that sort of unbearable to listen to. That you'd think that he'd kicked him in the face. And so, whilst, I don't think it's a great tackle. I think it's poor. And I think ultimately he sits there and he goes, we've got 13 league games left, a couple of Champions League games, probably not many, 13 league games left. He wants the World Cup. He wants to stay fit for the World Cup, right? That's his priority.
What, you implying he's done it on purpose?
No, but I don't. What I do think is I think that there are players. He's one of them. I think there are plenty of players in this team that I think if a team's doing well, if Spurs were third in the league, I don't think he does something like that. I don't think you want to be a part of this team right now, because ultimately, if you get beaten every week, it kills your own reputation, and we do get beaten every week. And so I'm not suggesting that he's purposely whatever, but what I do think is that he's probably in the back of his mind now is going, it's going to leave him out for another 4 games. He comes back for the last 9 games of the season. He's got that World Cup, and that will be his only priority. Do I think it's the worst tackle in the world? No. Do I think it's a red card by the letter of the law? Probably. Do I think it should be? No, is the very simple answer.
Yeah, let's see what the chat's saying on this one, because I have seen already mixed comments in the chat on this. Simon Cohen saying Brighton are slipping down the table. Absolutely, they're about as bad as us at the moment. But then again, we should be better than Brighton. So Tyler's saying James is soft. Shake my head. It's unlucky, but it is a red. Sadly, Ryan's in here, says Van der Ven did a similar challenge and won the ball fairly in the second half. Proved you don't need to follow through like that. Frank, with regards to this comment here, do you think it's more, the ref had no choice because of the intent, following through, and it's sort of, like I said, it's almost like an unnatural. If you see one of the angles, he kind of goes through and then he leans in with his leg more. I just think he does. Romero doesn't do himself some favors. I'm actually kind of cooled down a little bit from it, but after the game on Saturday, I was feeling very angry about the Romero thing because I thought it was very split. I know people like you were like, look, he's world class. He's carried us a lot of the weeks. But for me, it was like, you should be professional. You should be able to separate what is going off the pitch to what is going on the pitch. You get paid 200 grand a week. You're not a child anymore. You're like 27 years old. You're very experienced. You're a World Cup winner. Just put your emotions aside and just play professionally and to the best of your ability without clearly, I'm sorry, mate, but I think he was clearly putting one in on Casemiro. A lot you see on Sunday League where a player goes in and there's a bit of nastiness. You can get away with it in Sunday League sometimes, but you can't get away with it in the Premier League where there's cameras and VAR, mate. And that was just my opinion. I just think he got too hot-headed. You could see the emotions were building. I just think that's, for me, I know it's not the overall view, but that's why I just think this comment from Ryan says a lot, because Van der Ven kind of goes in, but he doesn't try and break someone's leg normally. Whereas Romero, whether you think that tackle or not was him trying to break Casemiro's leg, okay, maybe he didn't, but he did go in with more aggression. He did go in more unnaturally. Do you not see what I mean?
Yeah, I do agree. I do think, though, with Romero now, he's one of those players that I think referees are quite eager to just book. I really believe that. There was that stat that he's been booked like 8 times this season or something, and he's only actually committed something like a small number of fouls. It's something that's not proportionate for the amount of yellow cards he's had. He's daft at times, and I'm not pretending he's not. He's a prat at times.
Yeah,
and it probably was a red by the letter of the law, but I do think at times he does get booked for, and he does get. I really hate it when people sit there and that bias that they go, oh, our team's unfairly treated, or this or that. I do genuinely believe at points now that he has got to a point where he is unfairly treated by the media, by a lot of like the media reaction to it afterwards. You'd think it was like the worst tackle ever, and it wasn't. As I say, that had Odegaard have made that tackle, they would have gone, it's a poor tackle, they would have moved on. They spoke about Romero for most of half time. It's boring.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, we're laughing at this comment here from Alex Minchin, 100% of red. Romero sensed the Brazilian blood. Ali's in here as well. Big up yourself. The toucan friend himself. He says, red card, I would say. Simon Cohen, Romero will leave at the end of the season. This is the other talking point, isn't it? Will Romero leave at the end of the season? It's quite likely. AK Sheggs is in here saying, big up, lads. Coys, big up yourself. Roy Amos over on Facebook, mate, hope you're good. He says, it was a red. He didn't mean it. That's one of those tackles you thought the ball was going to be there. Bad luck. I think he done well the start of the season. AK Sheggs saying, if we don't see Romero behind the bench or up in the box tomorrow, I'll be fuming. In the past, when he's been unavailable, he's just at home with the missus, probably not even going to watch the game. I mean, if some of the, if there's going to be 60,000 Spurs fans, you'd expect Romero to be there as well as the club captain. There's otherwise some question marks about his captaincy status, in my opinion, which is another talking point entirely. Simon Cohen says it was a red. Colin saying, if you're in possession of the ball, which he was tackling Casemiro, never had the ball, so it's the follow through when clearing. And Steve Dyer, DJ, big up yourself, mate. Apologies if I haven't recognised you. Perhaps a new face. He's saying Romero posted that he got engaged yesterday. Maybe he wanted 4 games off so he could enjoy himself. Brilliant. And Ghosted in here saying, big up, gents. Guys, the numbers are growing. Really appreciate the support. Please, as a little reminder, do hit the like button. It really does help us out, especially at the quieter times out of the transfer window. Share with your friends. Let us know if you do enjoy the podcast. And as I said before, we do have the audio versions available if you're on walks, if you're driving. We do put it up on Spotify, Apple Pods, and all those good sources as well. So if you want to check us out there, please do hit the follow button on the Spurs-related podcast. Just search Spurs-related, or it's in our link down below, and share with your friends and hit the 5-star rating. But on here, YouTube, please do hit the like button, turn on the notification bell to never miss us uploading or going live, and subscribe if you are new. Frank, let's get into a bit more about the Man United game, and then we'll preview the Newcastle game as well. But obviously, in terms of the stats, this was, well, the overall big ones. Not very surprising that we got absolutely, was 2-0 flattering for us? Should it have been more, do you think?
I'm just trying to think about other chances that they had, like clear sort of chances. They hit 1 or 2. Cunha was quite unlucky with like a curling one from outside the area.
In the first half, that was a good shot.
Yeah, that was unlucky. Other than that, I mean, Vicario made quite a lot of saves, but quite a lot of saves I felt like he should have made. As in, he makes them look so much more difficult than they have to be. He played well, by the way, but like there was a lot of chances that they kind of had that were ones you'd be disappointed if your keeper let in. So I think 2-0 was probably a reasonable result. Maybe 3-0 would have been a little bit fairer, but I think 2 or 3-0 was probably the right result. And in regards to us, we just don't create anything. I mean, I've always been, and it's not just because he's the man on my t-shirt, but I've always been in the belief of the Ange way of doing things. If you have a red card, in that you don't bring off. We already had on the pitch Romero, Van der Ven, Gray, Udogie, Paulinho, Gallagher, and Sarr, and obviously Vicario. That's what, 8 or 9 players that were defensive minded. And so to bring off Audibert, who was one of the only ones we had that was a little bit more, and to bring on another defender, what's the point? Because then you just let United play the whole game in your half. I think if you leave an attacker on, or dare I even say, bring on another one, and if you were to bring on Tel or Mawani or whoever, you push the other team back. And so we already had a team that you could set up in a back 4 or even a back 5. You could set it up still with what we had and go at them still. And I think it's a really pragmatist way to look at things by bringing off a defender, which I don't have bringing on a defender. I don't have a problem with. I understand it. But I've always kind of been a little bit more on maybe the Ange way of thinking of that. I think it's a sensible thing to do to actually go for the throat when the pressure's off. If you get a red card, the pressure's kind of off. So go for the throat. Bring on another one and push them back.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I mean, it reflects on the possession, and like you said, because we didn't have the attackers on, it almost like we didn't really counter-attack with any sort of threat, did we? It was really difficult. We did have a little spell in the second half where you thought you could have got a couple of, a goal or two from a couple of half chances, but it was very much a long shot, wasn't it? And that's reflected with the 65% possession for Man United and only 35% for Tottenham, 1.78 XG for them and 0.49 for us, and they had 23 shots. And by the way, Bruno Fernandes had 8 shots in that game. I'm pretty sure that must be some sort of recent Premier League record. Could be wrong, but 8 shots in one game seems like a lot, especially for a number 10 as well, doesn't it? So, we kind of got peppered in that sense. Colin said Sousa looked useful. I do agree with that. I want to talk about his cameo appearance. You know, he bombed it down the left-hand side when he came on. Actually was fearless, looked pretty good. Obviously, early days. Tyler said he probably should have just dropped Paulinho back and kept Audibert on, which is sort of what you're saying as well, Frank, isn't it?
Yeah.
But this made me laugh. Let's lighten the mood a little bit. Thomas Frank was asked, so I think we cut a bit of it off, but essentially Thomas Frank was asked what he thought of Romero, and he said, he hasn't got that many red cards in his career. And the reporter went, he's got the most red cards for Spurs in the Premier League since he joined. And Thomas Frank went, oh right, I didn't know that. It just kind of further with egg on his face, it's not a great look, is it, Frank? I mean, I did laugh, but I mean, when you basically with chess say Romero's disciplinary record's good and he's got the most red cards since he joined Tottenham in the Premier League, it's not a great look, is it really?
No, it's not. He just has such a talent at just making himself look really silly every time he speaks, and it's an awful talent to have. But I always really liked him as a bloke when he came for Brentford. I thought he said the right things. I thought he was sensible. I thought he was a good bloke. He just manages to make every situation 10 times worse than it needs to be in every single scenario, and it's really impressive actually. He would fit. He just fits Tottenham so well as a social experiment of a club. He fits. He's perfect.
It really is a social experiment, isn't it, mate? It really is.
On that note of social experiment, did you see that Madonna was there yesterday? And now both of her kids play for Tottenham. I mean, that's like proper social experiment stuff.
Is it 2? I thought it was one that plays in the under-14s or something.
He's got twin daughters in the same team, apparently.
Oh my goodness! You couldn't make it up. Like no one knew about that since yesterday. Surely, no one knew about that.
No.
And then suddenly Madonna's at the Tottenham women versus Chelsea women game at the Tottenham Stadium, which didn't look like it was a great attendance. Maybe a couple of thousand, and then she's sitting there in the premium hospitality. I mean, you literally couldn't make these things up. Like Madonna, one of the biggest artists ever, potentially, like especially in like the 80s, 90s, is sitting there, in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium watching Tottenham women. I mean, if you told me that, I would have gone,
because her kids play for Tottenham is the funniest part of that sentence. The funniest part of that as well. But like, it's just us. Everything that we do is so abnormal, and like we would make an incredible TV show. Like not just that one season of thingy. We'd make like a seriously good show every year.
Yeah, you're spot on, mate. Guys, let us know what you thought of that. Colin's saying kids are fearless. I would play Williams Barnett. I don't know why he's not got any more opportunities. And Benito Sotelo, hope you're well, mate. Our friend from San Diego says Newcastle are rubbish. I think we get the win, surprisingly. We are going to preview the Newcastle game in about 5 minutes. Let's get to the end of this Man United game. obviously these are the ratings. I think some of these are actually quite generous. I don't think Romero should have got a number, actually. I think he probably should have got a minus 5.5 for his performance, or his, can you even call it a performance, Frank? Maybe just a cameo. But Archie Gray getting a 6, Destiny Adoji injured. And by the way, we've got some injury news to bring you on Destiny Adoji, if you're not aware. Another setback injuries. I think that's 12 or 13 injuries now. It's never ending. Odobert obviously made way when Romero came off, and when we mix things up. Simmons getting the highest rating for Tottenham. Again, I don't think I agree with this one, Frank. Courtesy of Foot Mob, I just don't agree with it. I just think, well, sorry, Vicario got the highest rating. I do agree with that, actually. But in terms of the outfield players, I think I'd get Paulinho slightly over it, just because he's shown passion still. He's still tackling. He's still running around. I don't think Gallagher had an amazing game, but obviously it was a massively different game when we got the red card. Who would you say was our top 3 players, chat? Let us know in the comments in the live chat now. Frank, who do you think our top 3 players was, even if you can do 3, mate?
I thought Sarr had quite a good first half. I thought he was completely missing in the second. I actually forgot he was playing missing, like that bad. First half, I thought he played well, though. Simmons, I thought, tried some bits and was a bit unlucky in the first half. I thought Gallagher had a decent first half.
Should have done better with that loose ball, though, where he got it, and he probably should have shot.
Yeah. And the touch was poor. And then I don't know how Shaw did get booked for that, by the way. That's something that's bugged me since.
This is it, isn't it? It's the inconsistency, mate. It is the inconsistency. I think you're right, though. Sarr had a fairly decent first half. Milton's in here. Big up, mate. He said Newcastle 3, Spurs 1. Good evening from Australia. 5:12 a.m. Tuesday morning. It blows my mind when people say they're 11 hours ahead. I just can't get my brain around it. It's just crazy. Giant Panda saying constant moronic PR after every loss, and the Madonna clip after losing to Man United the following day takes the biscuit. Imagine Madonna being associated with mediocrity. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Hope you're good. I think you're a new subscriber. Big up yourself. A lot of new faces today. Really appreciate the support, guys. Make sure you are hitting the subscribe button and hitting the like button for us. It really does go a long way. Biker is saying ENIC, Kids and Langer, Vinay just gamble with Spurs, not going down. We're going to be big in the summer. F off. We need players. Loans in the January window. It's disgusting, lads, to be honest. Simon Gallagher was our best player. I think Simon's Gallagher. Steve Dyer saying Madonna probably there also to secure 4 concert dates. Yeah, there must have been a meeting with the Spurs board on that one to get her some. Yeah, it must be a comeback tour or something, right? Must be.
Would you go?
What, to see Madonna?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Would you?
I'd think about it if it was a Spurs.
Oh, okay. Right, well, there you go, guys. New bit of information. Thomas Frank says our son likes a bit of Madonna. But in terms of the form table, this is not looking good, is it, Frank? I mean, 19th, 0. This is 2026, by the way, guys. So this is from 1st of January to now. We are sitting 19th, 7 matches played, 0 wins, 4 draws, 3 losses, and a -4 goal difference. That is terrible, is it not, Frank?
But we finished 4th in the Champions League, so it's okay. That's all that matters. That is all that matters. No, it's awful. It's awful. It's amazing that he's still here. Like, absolutely amazing that he's still here. Not even just because I just don't like him and whatever, but this isn't acceptable for Wolves and Burnley and the clubs of that ilk.
And Liverpool and Man City being 13th, 14th.
Yeah, I mean, that's mental as well. I think this was before yesterday, though. So I think, obviously, City have risen a little bit more now.
They'll be like 5th then, or 6th.
Yeah, they would have risen. They would have risen a bit. But yeah, I just don't get how he's still here. We've won like 2 of the last 17 or 18 league games, which wouldn't be acceptable. Maybe we're a mid-table club, fine. If people want to say that we have a mid-table squad, I have no issue with that. But that wouldn't be acceptable for Wolves, for Burnley, for West Ham, for Forest, for any of those clubs. So it shouldn't be acceptable here. That is the level of you're going down. Since I think it's game week 5, so 20 weeks ago in the season, we are in the bottom 3. I can't believe he still has a job. Like, given that he was brought in, and I quote, to compete on all 4 fronts, I cannot believe he still has a job. It's incredible, actually.
Do you think the only reason he has a job is because of that Champions League run? Being top 4 in the Champions League through to the last 16. Is that essentially overwritten it? Do you think if they sack him now, they have to pay him out more, which is to do with progressing in the Champions League, which I've heard is a clause in the contract? Do you think that's why?
Well, it's a weird one because he wasn't there higher, right? Or maybe he was, but you can blame it on Levy because Levy was here when he was hired. So it's a very easy one to get out of. You fire him and you go, listen, he was brought in under the previous regime, whatever. We tried to give him some time. It hasn't worked out. We're sorry. We're moving on. Everyone would be okay with that. So it's very easy to get out of this. So there's a reason they're sticking with him. They obviously want Pochettino. I know we'll talk about Pochettino, I imagine, in a little while. They obviously want Pochettino, I think, is probably the way they're going with this. But you've seen how an interim can work at Man United. They've won 4 on the bounce. Rosini is not an interim, but he's gone into Chelsea. He's freshened it up. And managers do tend to freshen things up pretty quickly. And so we won't go down if we win another 2 or 3 games. Another 6 to 9 points will be fine. So go and sack him. Go and bring in an interim. If an interim was in charge tomorrow night, I'd be very confident. If they'd sacked him yesterday, given it to Heitinga, I'd be very confident tomorrow night that we would have a bit of a boost and win it 2 or 3-0. Instead, I'm going there going, I hope we don't lose. And that's concerning.
Yeah, you're right. It's completely pessimistic. The pessimistic approach, isn't it? You're spot on. Drew Badenoch, PT, saying Sydney are taking over this chat. Australia emoji coys. I finished the High Performance podcast yesterday. Someone should tell Thomas Frank to watch it. I haven't actually watched it all yet. I've seen a lot of clips and I just think I just want Pochettino back. I mean, I was very much against it, but I just think just getting back. I'm an absolute sucker for it. Interestingly, guys, give me a 1 in the chat if you'd like Pochettino back. Number 1. Number 2 in the chat, live chat, if you would not like him, and tell me why. But big up yourself, Drew, all the way in Sydney. Tyler saying James prefers Jay-Z and Beyonce. You've got me there, Tyler. You really have. Sydney is the best, says AK Shegs. Big up yourself, mate, as well. And Ronald saying, congratulations. What have I done? What? Congratulations, we lost again? Or is there something I don't know about, Matt WA21 is saying 1, I would take Pochettino back. Els Rose saying 1 as well. Ali's going for a 1. I'd take Poch back. Drew as well. Steve as well. But Milton's saying 2. Never go back to an ex. Steve Dyer said he could sack him tomorrow if we lose. We have 12 days after tomorrow before the North London derby. Perfect timing for the interim. And this is what you keep saying, actually, Frank, isn't it?
The only thing that worries me with this, and the reason I would have done it after United, is I think Newcastle's a much more winnable game than Arsenal. And so I think if you sack him on Saturday afternoon or Sunday morning or whatever, and then you give it to an interim, Newcastle's a very winnable game at home for a team that's playing well. Very, very winnable. You win that 2 or 3-0, and then you go into Arsenal on a high. We're going into Arsenal, although we might have a boost from an interim, you're going into Arsenal still losing games. And so I think I get the point completely, and I think that will be the case, that if they do lose tomorrow night, and I've said it, I feel like every week, I think tomorrow night will be the end if they were to lose, because it will be a really damning result. Newcastle don't win any games. Newcastle
have lost their last 3 matches, I think.
They've lost more than that. They're awful at the moment.
They've lost 3 in a row in the Premier League, then they drew the last one before that, and then their form is essentially lost, draw, win.
You can't, and they're awful away from home. You cannot let them come to Tottenham and win tomorrow, which I don't think they will. It wouldn't shock me if they did, though. And if they do, I think even if we draw, I think he might lose his job, because 12 days is a long time. They'll be able to recoup a little bit and do it then, I think. So I think unless we win tomorrow, I think he's probably going to lose his job for us.
Yeah, guys, let us know what you think. If you agree with Frank, do you think Thomas Frank's going to lose his job? I just think if he'd have gone, he should have gone already. And I don't know, maybe you're right, mate. I just think they're going to stick with him. It's beyond belief. But anyway, Moyes is doing a good job back at his ex-club, says Colin. They're 8th. Can you believe Everton 8th? Arsenal have to play 3 games before they play us. Anybody but Frank, says AK. 2, I would never go back to any of my exes, says Andrew. Absolutely love it. And Tyler saying 2, I'd rather someone new that is a better manager, but I don't think we can get anyone better. So F it, bring him in. Guys, really appreciate all the live chats, all the comments coming in. Keep it going. Make sure, I'll only play it 2 more times, I promise. But please do make sure you're hitting the like button, turning on the notification bell and subscribing to really help us out. It's really much appreciated. All your support, even on off the transfer, new season, which sort of a lot of you guys are subscribed for. We obviously keep the content going. So if you want it to keep going, please do show your support by hitting that like and subscribing. Frank, let's bring up a couple more bits. So Thomas Frank asked why Spurs are so easy to score against. He said, I definitely think the defensive side is something we would like to be even better at, especially recently. I think we started the season very well. So it's very simple. If you keep the ball out of the net, then you have a better chance of winning. God, this guy's clever. It's something we are highlighting and something we are working on. It's something we are talking about. I mean, first of all, it feels like he's kind of turned into Michael Owen, stating the obvious. And secondly, it's not exactly like rocket science, is it? Like what he's saying here. But then again, I do sort of sympathize with him slightly because he is answering silly questions from the press. I mean, I don't even know what do you make of this, mate?
I mean, listen, the one thing I will give him, and I will give him this because I gave Ange the same argument in his favour, is that we have had a pretty depleted squad again this year, right? We have had players out here and there. Romero's been suspended now a couple of times. Going to miss another 4 now. Van der Ven missed last week. Udoji's been out, and he's obviously out again. Jed Spencer's been out. Porro's currently out. And so what I will give him is that it's very difficult when you don't have your whole back line. At the start of the season, we had them all. Udoji wasn't there, but Spence was there, so it was okay. We had the strong back 4 with the goalkeeper. We were okay. Since then, we kind of lose one every week, or one comes in and one comes out. They're never all there together. And so I can sympathise with him a little bit. Additionally, I think largely it is because we don't have any form of structure or system whatsoever, and that is entirely on him. I mean that comment there about closing down the shots. It's funny, and it's a funny thing that I've thought about a little bit more recently. Actually, they say he said that they don't want they don't mind players shooting from distance because like expected goals are lower or whatever, and that's a very fair point from a tactical point of view. Statistically, that makes sense, and I'm all for that. But what's really funny is when we're losing a game and we come out a bit flying in the second half, we keep shooting from outside the area. And so obviously he doesn't buy into his own ideology that much. If you're going to keep letting people shoot from outside the area because it doesn't matter because the chance expected goal is low, fine. But the second that we are in danger, Xavi Simons hits them. Basuma, when he's playing, loves to hit them. We hit Sar's another one. We hit so many shots from outside the area. And so I don't think even he is confident in his own system or what he's doing. And that is concerning. As I say, that we are, 7 months into a project, and there's literally nothing to suggest that he should still be here. And so I don't really know why he is.
Yeah, well put, mate. There's no progression. There's nothing to cling on to. We've been saying it for months. Where's the progression? Where's the improvement? Where's the player improvement? Where's the tactical adaptability? We need a bloopers section, don't we? Is when I have an absolute there. Where is the where's the confidence given to the fans that he knows what he's doing and he can change things in games when things are going wrong? I had no confidence if we're going to get anything out of that game, 10 men or not, because, like you said, he put on a defender and he basically accepted the fact that it was damage limitation and we were going to concede less and probably not score a goal unless we were really lucky. You can't counter-attack with, essentially a number 10 and a striker. I mean, it was begging to be. I'd have rather lost 5-0 and gone for it, mate. I really would have.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, what's the point of losing 2-0? I mean, doesn't matter. Our goal difference is terrible anyway. Well, it's actually not as bad as the teams below us, as we discussed, but, we can afford to take that hit. Nico Knapp, what a name that is, by the way. Evening, subscribed and liked. Thank you very much, Nico. Hope you're well, mate. Appreciate you joining. Welcome to the Spurs Relatables, as we like to call it, as cringe as that is. Milton saying already smashed the like and the notey bells are on. Did my part, mate. Big up yourself. AK Sheg saying, sorry, mate, no excuses for Frank. He's had his starting back 4 from the majority of the season, lost to Bournemouth twice, 3-0 to Forest with a fully fit team. Frank has been shocking.
Sorry,
absolutely.
very quickly, I want to make that very clear. I absolutely hate him, and I think he's very useless at his job. But that was the only kind of slight bit of sympathy I could give him at points. But yeah, no, I completely agree with that.
Absolutely. As we look ahead, who is the best player on our team, and why is that player named Palinha? He has been one of our best players. He's a good player, but arguably, there should be players as good as him, if not better. Alex Minchin saying our training facilities and medical rooms are cursed. And Dennis is saying we've been decimated by injuries last 3 seasons, just rotten luck. Every team needs their players out on the pitch. You say it's rotten luck, mate, but there's definitely more to it. Like, how can we be the ones that are getting injuries year after year after year? We've got the most injuries, I'm pretty sure, in the Premier League in the last 3 seasons. There has to be, obviously, someone has to have the most injuries, but it's beyond the joke, Frank. We have to look at it. I know they're looking at bringing in some kind of strength and conditioning people. I know they've changed a few of the physiotherapists and stuff like that. I'm not saying these guys are terrible at their job. Obviously, they're qualified to do it, but there is some question marks over. Everyone blamed it on Ange, didn't they, with the injuries?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we've got as many injuries now. So, it's clearly not just Ange's way of approaching games and stuff like that. It's got to be said. Holly's Hotspur, big up Holly. Said, good evening, guys. Hope you're both well. Hope you're doing well, Holly. Hope the channel is going well. Another great channel in the Spurs community. Go and check it out. AK Shegs is saying he's been here for 7 months and our team still has no identity going forward. No patterns of play. Absolutely. This is what I'm saying. There's no identity. There's nothing to cling on to and go, yeah, there's a vision there. Even when we get our players back, we're going to improve. I just don't see it at all. Steve is saying, I think Frank has lost the dressing room and the players are just taking matters into their own hands and going for it. That's why the City game was better in the second half. And I have to agree, second half City was probably our best performance all season, I'd imagine. And Surreal is saying our injury list is so excessive. I don't believe them anymore. Something fishy going on. The Cole Club needs investigating. And we're rotten to the core, guys. We are rotten to the core. Absolutely. It really is. And I think the injury record is worse now, Frank. I'd like to actually see the numbers, but I'm pretty sure.
I think it is.
I think last year was more noticeable in the sense we had no Van der Ven, no Romero. And then when they came back, we won the Europa League probably because of those two, really. Good defensive displays away at Bodo and at Frankfurt. So I don't know. Anyway,
the one game that sticks with me, sorry, I'll try and find it in a minute and I'll put up the tweet. But there was the tweet from the amount of players that had trained before we played Newcastle last January. And it was a Friday and 6 first-team players had trained. It was like we had nobody. And I think 3 of them were goalkeepers or something ridiculous. It was. I want to try and find it because it's hilarious.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Milton's saying he'd like to know who the mole is. And Holly's saying Udogie has Weetabix hamstrings. I think Weetabix is actually tougher than his hamstrings, honestly. I feel for the guy. I mean, there is actually a talking point I saw on Twitter today, people saying we should cash in on him. It's a controversial one, isn't it? Because when Udogie's good, he's good. He's one of our better players, but he can't get a run of games, can he? He just can't. It's becoming like Ryan Sessegnon V2. It really is. It really is. Mwani scored no goals up to January, and our board failed to cancel his contract. I mean, Giant Panda, even more of a fact for you. Colin Mwani hasn't scored a goal other than against his former clubs. Well, that's more concerning. He scored 2 against PSG and 1 against Frankfurt. That's all he's done, isn't it, Frank? I mean, I'm sure we haven't got Kolo Muani. I think we've got Molo Muani or something. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the AI version, Molo Kawani. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Evening, James and Frank. Just punted you on X. Big up yourself, mate. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate your support as always, mate. But here it is. There you go. Destiny Udogie out for 4 to 5 weeks with that hamstring injury, Frank. Just very quickly on this, mate, as we know we want to move on to the Newcastle preview in just a minute. Is there an argument to say we should sell him?
I don't know. I think when he's fit, I think he's one of the better left backs in the country and subsequently Europe. Ultimately, he's never fit. And so if the right money was there, then maybe. I love him. I absolutely love him. Genuinely, he's one of my favorite players when he's playing well. I think the guy's superb. But maybe if the right money was there, but it's a difficult one because I think he's brilliant, but they need to keep him fit. They need to sort him out properly because this is concerning. He's just constantly injured, and he's too good a player to not have as much as we don't have him because he makes a much bigger difference, I think, than people think sometimes in that team.
Absolutely. Guys, one in the chat if you would sell. No, 1 in the chat if you would sell Udogie, 2 in the chat. Number 2 in the chat if you wouldn't, if you would keep him despite the injury record. We've got 101 people watching across YouTube and Twitter, guys. Really appreciating the support. As I said, it's my last plug. Please do hit the like button. It really does help the channel grow and we reach new people like we have done today. Some new faces in the chat. And turn on the notification bell. It's also free to do. And subscribe to Spurs Related if you are new. As I reminded you guys earlier, we are an audio podcast as well. So please do check us out on Spotify and Apple Pods if you want to watch us. No, not watch us. Listen to us while on your drive or while on your walks or whatever you do. Maybe you go to the gym. You want to plug us in, please do so. And as a non-compulsory reminder, there is the option to, as like the chat's going quite busy now at the moment, there's an option to skip the chat and have your say and steer the talking points by putting in a super chat, which is as little as $1.99. Really does help us out, improve our equipment, improve our channel. And there is a membership option, which I always forget to plug, which is at the top of our description. And there's also a join button, and you get to be prioritized in the chat as well. And it does support us. I think we have about 10 members at the moment. Would really love to see more of you. And I think that's about $1.99 per month as well, guys. So really appreciate all the support. But as a freebie, please do hit the like button, notifications on, and subscribe. That's my last plug of the channel. I hope it's not of the channel, of this live stream. But look at this, mate. Newcastle game, for those listening on audio. Udogie out for 4 to 5 weeks. Spence is apparently available. Danzo is still weeks away from being back. So that injury is more significant than first thought. Kulusevski has an appointment with a specialist this week. So we should know more about when he will return after that. I mean, how long's Kulusevski been out for? It feels like nearly a year now, mate. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then the injury list is just crazy, isn't it? It's like 12 or so players literally not available. Do you think this is going to play obviously a massive part tomorrow in us getting anything out of the game?
Yeah, I mean, Udogie being out is a big loss. Spence is back, I think he said. Yes, yeah, underneath, yeah. Joe Spence is back. So imagine he'll start. And I imagine it'll be Gray at right back probably. Or he'll go Odobert as a 5 again. Danso, I saw someone say earlier on that Danso, that weeks away was generous and that Danso is going to be a long, long time. I don't know the truth on that, but that's what I read this afternoon. And Kulu, he said a month ago, was going to be back on grass in 3 or 4 weeks. So the fact that we're just being left in the dark again, as we so always are with this club, is it is frustrating. It's frustrating because it's like I think we deserve a right to know what goes on. Personally, I think the amount of money and time that people devote to this club, you should have a right to know when, you know, I've used the analogy before, but if you bought a season ticket to the theatre and you were promised DiCaprio and Brad Pitt every week and you got some fella out of EastEnders and they said it's just for 1 week, you'd be okay. But if then every week it happened, you'd have the ump. And ultimately, I don't want to watch Randall Colomwani. I want to watch Kulusevski. Do you know what I mean? And so they need to actually let us in on this because it's as per taking the fans to be stupid and it's insulting.
Yeah, absolutely. And apologies for any EastEnders lovers out there. Obviously, you know, we respect your program. You respect your program of choice. But no, good way of putting it. DiCaprio and who did you say? DiCaprio and who?
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt, yeah, top choices. In terms of the general consensus of selling Udogie, a lot of people saying it might be a good idea, including Stefan, Steve, Drew, and Milton saying, I think I've scrolled too far. Actually, that's my bad. Andrew's actually saying we should keep Udogie. So is Nico. Ali says, no, sorry. The one was sorry. I'm having a shocker tonight, guys. One is sell, and I think a lot of people saying we should cash in, but also a lot of people. It's quite balanced, actually. A lot of people thinking we should keep him. It's an interesting one. It's probably another video completely, to be perfectly honest with you. The club is cursed, says Giant Panda, as the Udogie replacement would be walking on crutches within 3 months of joining him. We can only sell players like Udogie if we can replace them with better. I do agree. I'd like to see Taylor Odobert start on the left, says AK. Reckon their pace and technique would give Trippier fits. I'm just waiting on the Kulusevski to arrive in the training ground in a wheelchair. I think Kulusevski will not be back this season. Brian Hill, that's got to be a joke. Brian Hill.
He's been in here before, I think.
Yeah, we said about this last time. It's the English version of Brian Hill. 50-50 red, but the ref was treating it as Romero. I think you're on catch-up, mate. Big up yourself for joining in. We've got to talk about Poch, mate, before we talk about the Newcastle match quickly. Obviously, he was on the High Performance podcast. I think it came out a couple of days ago, didn't it? Or maybe yesterday.
Last night, yeah.
Have you watched it yet?
No, I haven't. I was planning on doing it this afternoon and I got carried away with some bits. But no, hopefully I will tomorrow.
But basically, Poch is saying, so they were asked what club holds the most special place in mine and Jesus Perez's heart, and he said it's very simple. Tottenham. To win the Europa League is good, but it's not enough for a club like Tottenham. It's not enough to challenge for the Carabao Cup or FA Cup or Europa League. It's a club that should be fighting for the Premier League and Champions League. I saw this clip. What did you make of it, Frank?
Yeah, it's brilliant. I don't, obviously we can't show it on here for copyright reasons, but I don't know if I sent you the video earlier on that I saw, and I feel like it was quite it was I think the pair of our niches, and so I think it was quite good. It was a Rein Me In Pochettino edit on TikTok, and sorry, this is going very off on a tangent, but it was fantastic.
What you're saying? You're saying that you sent me a Rein Me In edit? I don't think you've ever done that, mate.
Yeah, no, occasionally. But it was a Pochettino one, and it started with him saying this, and if I wasn't convinced already, which I was, I'm now 500% convinced. It sounds like he's going to come back. I think personally, and when you compare it, he has been for years. He was when he was at Chelsea.
Yeah, they can't like that.
I saw they asked Frank today about this quote because he said that if you compare it to this, and when Frank said, "Oh, we're going to lose matches or whatever," and Frank basically said, "I'm a realist." so yeah. I mean, at least he's someone that makes you believe, and I love him. So I would do anything for him to come back in the summer. But I think they have to back him correctly. They have to say, "Listen, you're going to be here for 5 years. You're going to be backed properly, providing we don't go down or whatever. You're staying here and you're rebuilding this properly." It needs a rebuild, and they need to have the right head on it. And I think he is the right head to spearhead it.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Guys, let us know what you think of the Pochettino interview. Poch is simping for us, and I love it. And Poch is a no-brainer. If the hand fits the glove, then wear it. And Paul Dawson says, sell a lot of them. We're going down. The team is a championship team. Guys, is there anyone in the chat that actually thinks we're going to get relegated? Because I'm starting to get a bit worried. I'm not even joking. Imagine we lose tomorrow. We lose against Arsenal, which is pretty much a given at this point. And West Ham win the next 2 games. And then maybe some of the teams like the Leedses and the Forests get a couple of points. That 6 points becomes a couple very quickly, doesn't it, Frank? I don't want to go off on tangent about relegation, but I'm just throwing it out there. We are not completely safe. We really aren't. I don't know what it is that people think that Tottenham are too big to go down. Leicester went down. They're a massive club. Yeah. Portsmouth went down. They're a pretty big club. Forest went down. They're a massive club. Newcastle went down. Villa went down. We can go down, guys. We are not immune from it. I'm just saying, I don't think we will go down, but I am starting to get a bit worried. And I don't remember being worried about getting relegated other than last season when actually we knew that 3 teams were much, much worse. At this point, if West Ham can pick up a run, they'll get out of it. And suddenly we'll be battling with Leeds and Forest, you know?
I think very quickly, ultimately as well, is that we do have players that are good players. If you can keep Van der Ven fit, Solanke fit, obviously Romero will be back for the last 10 games of the season. If you can keep those sort of guys fit and okay, we will pick up enough points to be okay, is my kind of... We've got Wolves, we've got Forest at home, we've got Palace at home, got Brighton at home, I think got Everton at home. There's a lot of games in there. I know Everton are doing right, but they're all kind of winnable games. That if you are... And if we're in real danger after the Arsenal game, they will fire him. They will fire him and they will go and hire Redknapp, or they'll go and hire Sam Allardyce or something just to save him.
Would Redknapp keep us up, mate? Do you know what I mean?
I think so. I think someone that... I don't think it's tough to keep Tottenham up, personally. I think you have to kind of make that side just play with a little bit of freedom, a little bit of joy, and I think you'll be all right. There's enough quality in there to not go down.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the game tomorrow for the last 10 minutes, if that's all right. Apologies for the advert at the bottom. I'm going to try and sort that out. But essentially, these are the predicted lineups according to SofaScore. So they reckon that we're going to go with Dragusin and Van der Ven as the centre-backs. Obviously, Romero being missing, thanks to him being an absolute donut on Saturday. Left-back Souza getting the call-up. Obviously, Doji out injured. Ben Davies out injured. Souza will get his first start, pretty much, definitely. Archie Gray at right back there. Sorry again for the advert covering it up. I'd rather do that than show you the advert and give them free advertising. Pape Matasar, Palhinha and Gallagher in the middle, and then Odegaard, Simmons and Solanke up top. What do you reckon, mate? Do you reckon this will be our 11?
I think Spence will start left back if he providing he's fit, which he said he was. Other than that, I think probably that will be what it will be. I mean, the Newcastle team does worry me slightly. Gordon's not in there. Whether or not he'll start, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, their front line concerns me, and so does their midfield. And so I'm a little bit concerned. I have to be honest. Tomorrow, I think tomorrow is going to be. I think tomorrow looks an easier game on paper than maybe it is, and maybe not that I had much confidence anyway. But looking at those teams, that does concern me a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we normally do the thing where we pick out one or two players that the biggest, but to be honest with you, like looking at their midfield, like Guimaraes, I'm having a stinker today. Guimaraes, is that how you say it? Bruno Guimaraes?
Yeah, that'll do.
Like all the commentators do, all fancy. That's why I can't do. That's why I could never do commentary, mate. Tonali as well, obviously a top player. But I think you're right. Like that forward line, Walter Mardi, not exactly on the best form, but Elanga and Harvey Barnes, I think, are going to cause Gray and either Souza or, as you said, Spence some issues. AK Shig saying swap Sarr and Simmons, start Tell on the left, and Gray and Sarr out of that team for Spence and Tell. I think that's sort of what you're saying, isn't it, Frank? Pretty much.
Yeah.
You went.
No, I think Spence. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if Tell started. I wouldn't mind him doing that, but I don't think he will. So I think it's a game that is probably quite a battle in midfield. So I don't think he will.
Yeah. Eugene Kalev saying when you join teams like Chelsea, PSG, and a national team, you learn a lot on how to deal with the games. So many levels. This is about Poch. Craig saying, "Hi guys, a serious big up Craig as well. New subscriber. He's saying a serious club move players on like Udogie. The guy is never available. And Ronnie's 11 is Vicario, Spence, Radu, Van de Ven, Souza, Palhinha, Gallagher, Xavi, Tell, Solanke, and Odegaard. Sort of bringing in an extra attacker there. Guys, let us know what you would change about the lineup. But Frank, picking out one player then from the Newcastle team, I'm going to go with Harvey Barnes. I think the guy's an absolute underrated baller. I think he's been really, really good in recent weeks. I think he's going to be a big, big problem for Spurs, especially when looking at this against probably Archie Gray. I don't trust Archie Gray at right back. I think the guy, I feel sorry for him. He's thrown in at all sorts of positions. Under Angie was playing centre-back, wasn't he? He pretty much never plays his normal position. But I think he's going to struggle against Harvey Barnes. Who's your player you're picking out for Newcastle?
Well, I really love Nick Woltemade, to the point where I have a Germany shirt with his name on hanging in my wardrobe as we speak.
Got to have a VAR check on having a Germany shirt there, mate.
I mean, it's poor, but it was too good not to. Big fan of Nick Woltemade. I think he's brilliant. Having said that, given it's Dr. Tottenham and given everything I know about Tottenham, the fact that Anthony Elanga has not scored a Premier League goal for Newcastle yet suggests to me he's probably going to score tomorrow night, and so I'm going with Elanga off that.
Dr. Tottenham.
Yeah, that's how we do things.
It really is. It really is. I'm going to let you do a couple of the comments, and I'm going to quickly get up the head-to-head. So I'll let you do a couple of the comments, and then we'll go to the head-to-heads if that's all right.
Let's have a look. Simmons has been stronger. I'd put him right behind Solanke and put more speed on the wing. I wouldn't disagree. I think the only thing I would say tomorrow is because it's probably a bit of a battle in midfield, more than any other game. I think Newcastle have quite a solid midfield, and so I think he'll leave it like that team suggests, just to try and sort of power through them. I can see Frank playing a back three. That also wouldn't surprise me at all. That wouldn't surprise me at all. We're at home. Newcastle are under the pump. We can't all guns blazing. Will we though? Is a very different question. I think very different question.
Absolutely. Yeah. Here we go. Head to head. I've purposely done it from 2025 onwards because if you remember in 2024, it was a bit of a night. Was that 2023? Do you remember the 6-1?
I can't remember that at all.
I don't know what I'm talking about. So the fifth last game was 2-1 to Newcastle at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I believe that would have been under Ange Postecoglou. No, sorry, it wouldn't. Yeah, it would. Sorry, it would have been under Ange Postecoglou. 2-1 to Newcastle. Then we drew 1-1 in a club friendly. I do remember that. I believe Udogie scored or a new signing scored, didn't they? Do you remember that? I'm gonna have to check.
I do. No, wait. Which one was that? Was that the one after the season?
No, the 1-1 in.
That was in the summer. Season. That was Sonny scored.
Oh, Brennan Johnson. Sorry,
Johnson scored. That was it. It was Sonny's last game, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was it. Oh yeah, of course it was. Sorry, I'm having a stinker on the old. This is why we normally do slides, Frank. Having an absolute nightmare. I am. 2-0 in the EFL Cup. Obviously, that was only in October. And 2-2 in the Premier League. Obviously, Romero clutched up, didn't he, mate? Romero absolutely clutched up with the two he scored twice, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was pretty incredible, and somehow we salvaged a point. And tonight, obviously, 7:30 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Do you want a quick laser in on our next two games? Newcastle at home and Arsenal at home in the next 12 days. There is a bit of a gap, but your thinking is that if we lose tomorrow, Frank will be sacked because we've got nearly a couple of weeks to sort that out. Do you reckon?
Yeah, it gives them enough time. I mean, not that they should have been contingency planning for months anyway. So they shouldn't need the 12-day gap, but I think it will give them an opportunity to do it and not receive any sort of real pressure or noise because we haven't got a game for a while. And so I think it will make a lot of sense to do it after tomorrow if we don't win. But it wouldn't. I've kind of got a feeling we might win tomorrow night.
Absolutely. You think we've got a feeling that we're going to win. So here we go. Score prediction time, guys. For those watching, 120 of you on YouTube and Twitter combined, as obviously Facebook as well. Guys, if you are watching on Twitter and Facebook, quick reminder to come over to the YouTube channel. But now is the time for your score predictions in the chat. For the last 5 minutes, we're going to do score predictions. So whack them in the chat now. I'm going to hand to Thomas Frank's AI son, who is going to let us know his score prediction. So far away, Frank.
I nearly got the one at the weekend right. I said 3-0 United. I wasn't far off.
I don't like that though.
So I'm gonna be more positive this week. I'm hopefully gonna get it right. I'm gonna go. I'm going 3-0 Tottenham. I think we're gonna have a good day tomorrow. I think that he realizes his job is really on the line, and so I think he's gonna go. I think he's gonna come out and let them play a little bit. And I don't think they're very good, Newcastle. I think they're on a real rough trot like we are. I think the atmosphere will be pretty good. I think all in all, I think we win tomorrow night. I'm going 3-0 Tottenham.
Woohoo! 3-0 Tottenham. That would be our biggest win for a while, wouldn't it? 3-0 Tottenham to really give us a bit of breathing space in this potential relegation battle. The scores are flying in the chat. Let's see what's going on. Craig Lander is going for a 2-1 Spurs win. Solanke and Odebear. Stefan Everington's going for a 1-1. Ali's going for a 1-1. Scott Hyman says, big up Spurs, big up Coys, big up yourself, mate. Andrew's going for 2-1. So it's 2-1 and 1-1 only at the moment. AK Shegs has just gone 3-0. Sorry, Frank, how can you go from predicting a 3-0 loss to a 3-0 win? I mean, only Tottenham would do that to your brain, mate. Only Tottenham.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
Crazy. AK Shegs is saying, let's go. Alex Minchin, 2-0 Coys and 2-0 Spurs. Yep, says Tyler. I'm going for a 2-1. I'm joining Tyler, Andrew, and Craig. I'm going for a 2-1 Tottenham win. I'm going to give you the scorers as well. It's going to be Souza. Souza's going to get on the score sheet. Trust me, mate. Honestly, this guy's going to be like prime Neymar on the left back. He's going to be, yeah, look, see? Alex says Souza. It's something about that kid on his debut. I'm just like, I think he's going to be better than we think. I really do think he's going to be better than we think. But anyway, probably get some value on him scoring. Ronnie's saying 2-2, and must be because our home form is so good. Absolutely. So we've got a lot of 2-1s, a lot of 1-0s. Frank, for a bonus point, and anyone in the chat for next week's episode. Well, say next week's. We'll be reviewing this in a couple of days. For a bonus point, you can give me the scorers as well, Frank.
God, let's go with Mickey's getting one because he's due one as he hasn't scored in a week. Also, I'll go with Jed's going to get one because again, I fancy another defender scoring, and we'll go Solanke because he scored some goals today.
Wow, that would be impressive if we get 3-0 on those three. You know, I have to think about a prize for that one, but maybe I should do it. Maybe if we got more and more people predicting scores, I'm gonna have to do a little league starting from say next week or something. I think I'm going to remember these score predictions, guys. So if you do want to get involved, then whack it in the comments section now. And if you're watching offline as well, please whack in your score predictions. But guys, that is all we have time for. Really appreciate all the comments today. Really great stream. Please do hit the like button down below. It is free to do so. Turn on the notification bell as well. It's also free to do so. And subscribe. But I know a lot of you guys have already done that, so massively appreciated. But if you haven't, hit like, notifications on, and subscribe. There is the option for a super chat or a membership option as well. But guys, that is all we have time for. All that's left to say is, come on, you Spurs, and please get the win against Newcastle. Remember, as always, come on, you Spurs.